Welcome back. In this video, we are going to look at liquidity ratios. Analysis of liquidity measures a company's ability to meet its short-term obligations. Liquidity measures how quickly assets are converted to cash. Liquidity ratios also measure the ability to pay off short-term obligations. In day-to-day operations of a company, liquidity management is achieved through efficient use of assets. In the medium term, liquidity in the non-financial sector is also addressed by managing the structure of liabilities. The level of liquidity needed differs from one industry to another. A company's liquidity position might vary according to the anticipated needs for funds at any given time. Now we have shown here some common liquidity ratios. These ratios represent a company's position at a point in time. Liquidity ratios typically use data from the ending balance sheet rather than the average values. The current, quick, and cash ratio reflect three measures of a company's ability to pay current liabilities. The defensive interval ratio measures how long a company can pay its daily cash expenses using only its existing liquid assets without any additional cash flow coming in. Lastly, the cash conversion cycle, which is actually a financial metric and not an actual ratio, measures the length of time required for a company to go from cash paid to cash received. It is essentially the length of time funds are tied up in working capital. Let's look at each of these ratios one by one to understand them better, starting with the current ratio. The current ratio is calculated by dividing the current assets by current liabilities. Current assets are short-term assets. For example, when you sell goods on credit to someone, it results in a current asset on your balance sheet, which reflects the fact that the buyer owes you some money. Similarly, current liabilities are short-term liabilities. For example, when you buy some goods on credit from someone, it results in a current liability on your balance sheet, which reflects that you owe some money to them. A high value of current ratio reflects a higher level of liquidity, which implies greater ability to meet short-term obligations. A current ratio of 1 indicates that the book value of its current assets exactly equals the book value of its current liabilities. A lower ratio indicates less liquidity, implying greater reliance on operating cash flow and outside financing to meet short-term obligations. The next ratio we'll look at is the quick ratio. Quick ratio is more conservative than current ratio because it only includes more liquid assets among the current assets. Usually, current assets also include assets like prepaid expenses, taxes, and employer-related prepayments. These are costs that have been paid in advance and hence form part of current assets. But the fact is that these cannot be converted to cash. Similarly, while inventory is also part of current assets, it also cannot be quickly converted to cash. Hence, quick ratio uses the formula cash plus short-term marketable securities plus receivables in the numerator to reflect the assets that can be quickly converted to assets. This number is then divided by the current liabilities in the denominator. Since we use a more conservative number in the numerator, quick ratio is more conservative than current ratio. The next ratio we will look at is the cash ratio. Cash ratio is calculated by dividing only cash plus short-term marketable securities with current liabilities. This represents a reliable measure of an entity's liquidity in a crisis situation. In case of cash ratio, only highly liquid short-term securities and cash are included. This makes this ratio stringiest compared to current ratio and quick ratio. Next, let's look at the defensive interval ratio. This ratio is obtained by adding cash, short-term marketable securities, and receivables, and dividing this total by the daily cash expenditure. This ratio measures how long company can continue to pay its expenses from its existing liquid assets without receiving additional cash inflow. A defensive interval ratio of 50 would indicate that the company can continue to pay its operating expenses for 50 days before running out of quick assets, assuming it has no cash inflows. The higher this number, the greater the liquidity. In case for a company this ratio is lesser compared to its peers, then you should ascertain that the company has sufficient cash inflow expected to mitigate the risk. Lastly, let's look at a liquidity measure known as the cash conversion cycle, also known as the net operating cycle. This number is calculated by adding DOH, which as you would remember is the number of days inventory is on hand, plus DSO, which is the days sales outstanding, and then subtracting the number of days of payables. The first day DOH here represents the number of days inventory is on hand. So for this many days, cash is locked in inventory. Days sales outstanding represents days it takes to convert receivables to cash. So for these many days, cash is locked in receivables. The last term is number of days of payables, which is the number of days company takes or avoids to pay the cash to its suppliers. This actually completes the complete life cycle of cash in the company. This metric indicates the amount of time that elapses from the point when a company invests in working capital until the point the company collects cash from its customer. In a typical course of events, a merchandising company acquires inventory on credit, incurring accounts payable. The company then sells the inventory on credit, increasing amounts receivable. The time between this outlay of cash and collection of cash is called the cash conversion cycle. A shorter cycle implies that the company needs to finance its inventory and receivables for a short period of time. A longer cycle implies lower liquidity, and hence the company must finance its inventory and accounts receivables for a longer period of time, which indicates a need for higher level of capital to fund its current assets. With this, we have come to the end of liquidity ratios. In the next video, we'll look at solvency ratios.